In the spring of 1944, as the war in Europe raged on, the Allies faced an extraordinary challenge. The upcoming invasions required precision, coordination, and a daring strategy to mislead the German army. For this purpose, an unusual army was conceived, one that would carry no rifles, no artillery, no tanks capable of firing. Their weapons were imagination, deception, and ingenuity. They became known as the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, later called the Ghost Army. Around 1,100 men were recruited for this secret mission, but not from conventional military backgrounds. They were artists, sculptors, architects, sound engineers, and journalists, civilians trained to become soldiers, whose greatest weapon was creativity. Major Ralph Ingersoll, a journalist with a keen eye for strategy, and Colonel Harry Reeder, a seasoned officer, orchestrated this radical idea: to use art, sound, and deception to confuse the enemy and save thousands of lives. The recruits underwent basic military training to learn to march, navigate, and follow orders. But beyond the basics, they were trained in unconventional warfare. Artists learned to paint camouflage that could fool aerial reconnaissance. Engineers learned to inflate and deflate rubber tanks, trucks, and artillery pieces in minutes. Sound technicians recorded marching troops, tanks rolling over cobblestones, and construction activity, then broadcast these recordings from giant speaker trucks. Radio operators practiced mimicking the signals of entire divisions, sending fake messages in Morse code that German intelligence would believe. Every day of training was a test of creativity and precision. Soldiers learned to construct entire illusionary divisions, arrange decoy camps, and create phantom headquarters that could survive aerial surveillance. They even learned to impersonate real units, swapping patches and insignias so that enemy spies and local civilians would believe the deception. For them, the line between artistry and warfare blurred. Paintbrushes, rubber, and tape recorders became weapons as powerful as bullets. Before D-Day, the Ghost Army deployed its first major operations. Inflatable Sherman tanks, decoy jeeps, and tents were scattered across northern France. Sound trucks blasted recordings of marching troops, moving vehicles, and construction, while radio operators transmitted fake battle plans. German reconnaissance planes observed phantom armies. Entire divisions that didn't exist were believed to be real. German commanders reacting to these illusions repositioned their forces, unknowingly allowing the real Allied troops to advance with fewer casualties. After this initial success, the Ghost Army moved to Britannia. There, they impersonated General Patton's divisions, creating the illusion of massive troop concentrations where none existed. Inflatable vehicles, decoy encampments, and sound simulations created a convincing front. German reconnaissance consistently reported troop movements in fortifications that were entirely fake. This level of deception directly impacted battlefield outcomes, guiding the enemy to focus on the wrong locations. In Metz, the Ghost Army staged another daring operation. Inflatable tanks were positioned along roads and open fields. Tents and fake command posts were set up. Sound trucks broadcast the clatter of troops and construction activity. Radio operators transmitted messages as if real divisions were moving and preparing defenses. German officers, observing the Phantom Army, moved forces into positions that left the real Allied lines exposed. The deception worked flawlessly. During the Battle of the Bulge, the Ghost Army's expertise in sound and radio deception became even more crucial. Night after night, speaker trucks broadcast marching sounds, simulated vehicle movement, and construction noise. Radio operators sent coded messages from fake units, mimicking the signals of entire divisions. German reconnaissance reports consistently overestimated Allied troop strength and movements, diverting forces away from the real attack sounds. Soldiers often worked in exposed areas, risking sniper fire, yet the illusions held strong. The Rhine River operation in March 1945 was the Ghost Army's most audacious mission. Hundreds of inflatable tanks in fake headquarters were deployed along the riverbanks. Sound trucks played recordings of pontoon bridge construction, marching troops, and moving vehicles. Radio operators transmitted messages simulating full divisions ready to cross. German reconnaissance believed the phantom crossing was real, diverting forces away from the actual Allied crossing points. Real troops crossed with minimal resistance, a direct result of deception. Among the soldiers, personal stories highlight their courage and ingenuity. Corporal John Smith, an artist from New York, recalled inflating tanks while sniper fire whizzed past, heart racing yet hands steady. Sergeant Marie Dubois, a radio operator, spent long nights transmitting fake messages while real troops maneuvered undetected. Private Henry Larkin, a sculptor, worked feverishly on inflatable tanks, adjusting seams and painting realistic details, knowing that one flaw could betray the illusion. The Ghost Army's impact extended beyond battlefield success. They demonstrated that creativity, innovation, and psychological insight could influence the course of history as profoundly as bullets and bombs. Even with no direct combat, they saved countless lives by diverting enemy attention, reducing casualties, and ensuring strategic victories for the Allies. Despite their vital contributions, the Ghost Army suffered casualties. Some soldiers were wounded or killed while operating near front lines. Their heroic efforts remained classified for decades. Only recently have historians documented their extraordinary work, revealing the true impact of this unconventional army. Top-secret files, dusty and hidden for decades, now show that their missions were not mere tricks. They were strategically essential operations that saved thousands of lives. In 2022, surviving Ghost Army members and their families received the Congressional Gold Medal, a long-overdue recognition of bravery, ingenuity, and sacrifice. The Ghost Army never fired a shot, yet they changed the course of history forever. Its story is a testament to courage, creativity, and the power of thinking differently. It teaches us that sometimes the greatest weapon is the human mind. As we reflect on their legacy, the Ghost Army reminds us that war is not only fought with weapons, it is fought with strategy, ingenuity, and imagination. Artists, engineers, and civilians transformed into soldiers, using the power of illusion to influence battles and save lives. From inflatable tanks to sound trucks, from fake headquarters to radio deception, every tool was wielded with precision, creativity, and courage. Its story remains one of the most remarkable untold chapters of World War II, a legacy of ingenuity that changed history.